So, how's your university and studying in Germany? And do you study in English?
We have two master programs, which is Space Sciences and Technologies and Space Engineering. Jesaiah is from the Space Engineering part, and I'm from the Space Sciences part. The master is definitely in English, and it's yeah, like a regular master program in Germany, where you don't have to pay any tuition fees, which is great. And all the fee that we pay is close to 340 at the most per semester, and 340 euros. And this is all essentially towards the transportation, because tuition is supposed to be free according to German law, but you also have to go around and use the transportation buses to get places. And this is really all we pay for. Other than this, the fee also includes something like a culture semester ticket, where you kind of get to explore some exhibitions as a student at really low prices. Yeah, for the visa, I think maybe we had different procedures because we applied from different places. But for me, from India, it was quite a long process and quite some difficulty getting slots. But essentially, was a student visa that we applied for, which is valid for the first year that you're here, and then you apply for like residential status. And yeah, that covers about how the visa situation works. And living expenditure, I think that German law asks for foreign students to have something like a blocked account, where you approximately spend maximum like 700, 800 euros per month, which includes your rent, health insurance, tuition fee, any other living expenses. And yeah, so that's few things about being a student in Germany.
I think that pretty much does a pretty good justice to your explanation. The only difference is that if you're already a European resident, it's a lot easier because you don't have to go through the whole visa thing. So I was already a European resident at the time that I applied, because I was working in Germany previously. So much easier process. You just send your application and they say yes or no, and you can go.
So, do you have contacts with the other universities or alumni?
Yeah, so from my part, because for 2 years I worked part time at the German Aerospace Center, the Deutsche Zentrum für Luft- und Raumfahrt. I saw a lot of colleagues who were somewhere in and around Bremen, and also from the University of Bremen. I do have a few friends at Airbus and OHB who previously did their master's or PhD at the University of Bremen as well.
I guess that also has connections with ESA a little bit, because there are some jobs with area and space and stuff that are in the area. So sometimes you can get connected to those types of things.
What was your preparation before university, like high school?
In Canada, it's not like the whole education system is pretty general. So you kind of all do the same types of things. But you have a little bit of options when it comes to whether you want to focus kind of on like math and science, or if you want to focus on like English and social sciences and stuff like that. And of course, I went down the math and science route because I was always really into rocketry and engineering and building stuff. So I tried to take as many things as I could with respect to science and engineering and physics. I didn't really do anything exciting in terms of engineering in high school, to be completely honest. And this is one thing I wish I did a bit more, because I didn't really know what the options were. I was more of an athlete in my early high school days, so the engineering wasn't as much of a focus.
For me, definitely not athletic as much as Jesaiah, but I was frequently doing a lot of summer schools and internships at the planetarium, at the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, at the Indian Institute of Science, basically. And I was also working, part time on multiple projects which were related to space since quite some young age. I used to build a lot of sensors for my telescopes as a kid, to make sure that the lens did not get foggy with rain or something like that. So I think I started small projects somehow related to science and space at a very young age. The cool thing that happened to me during my high school was actually I got to go to the Space Academy program from NASA in Alabama. And this program really kind of gave me a good idea about what's Capcom, what's EVA, what kind of trainings do astronauts have to actually do to get to different places. So I got a taste of everything small at a young age. And I think this was amazing for me. I also did a lot of courses in astronomy and astrophysics. We also had a astronomy of Association of Bangalore for amateur astronomers and Bangalore Astronomical Society. That's the city where I'm from in Bangalore. So it really helped me that I kept in touch with the astronomy side for quite some time, despite the fact that I did electronics and communication engineering in my bachelor's. And yeah, so for according to me, if you're in high school and you're looking for STEM education, of course, you start with science. This is basic. But of course, also kind of look for summer school opportunities, space weather schools. Look for whatever opportunities you can get to know as many people in the industry as possible. And yeah, follow your heart and have fun. That's it.
How is it like to be student in Bremen?
Yeah, I can say before Corona, and unfortunately, Jesaiah can talk about how it's been after Corona.
Yeah.
I had the lucky chance to be here for a few semesters before Corona, so I have to admit it was a lot more different than how students face it right now. It was definitely fun running from one department to another for lectures because some of the lectures happen in the institute for us, and also some of the lectures at the German Aerospace Center because the program integrates a lot of lectures from employees from the Institute of Space Systems at DLR Bremen. So was definitely a fun experience. So to kind of describe like a normal day, it was waking up at 8. No, lectures were at 8 already, so waking up at least like 6:37 a.m. It's still dark outside, and you can start in the winter semester in October, and it's snowing and cold, but you still gather the motivation to turn up to your early morning lecture. And then, as usual, all of us go to the Mensa, which is the canteen or the cafeteria, let's say, for all the students to eat together. And then you attend a few more lectures, and by the time you go home, it's dark again. So it's not as intense as it would be from Space Master students from Kiruna, for example, but I do miss my sunlight that I used to get in India. So this was lecture period during winter semester before Corona. I get Josiah has another opinion.
Yeah, from my perspective, the weather here is great.
Yeah.
It's only snowed like 2 times since I've been here, so that's amazing.
Yeah, this is not Corona, but global warming. But yes, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, on when the coolest thing I think about the university is that a lot of the professors, at least for the space engineering and space science master, are actually working in the space industry, and they're doing real projects, and you have the opportunity to talk to them and to interface with them and to actually do project related things with them later on in your studies. So it's kind of a really good opportunity to get yourself into the industry if that's what you want to do. Um, I think Sahana and I both are on that track. So
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely been the interesting part for me too, because some of our lecturers they were involved with EttoCraft, the mission from the German Aerospace Center, where they wanted to grow tomatoes in space. And I work very closely to the Eden ISS lab, where they have a huge, yeah, like plantation experiment in Antarctica. And there's our NASA ESA astronaut, Jessie, who's also working in the Eden ISS, and they take care of plants under really extreme conditions for, yeah, say an interplanetary mission, for example. And to get to just be in the middle of all of these labs where so much is going on, like the next room, someone's testing a smart T-shirt for the astronaut Matthias Maurer to wear it on his trip to the ISS. So being really close to actually current experiments is just really the fun part because every day you get to hear somebody's experience. Somebody just wants to grab a coffee with you and just tell you their experience for how it was when their satellite was getting launched and what kind of anxiety they had at the launch site. So this human experience of getting to know stories, it's so much easier when you're closer to the industry. OHB, Airbus, DLR, all of them are pretty close to the university, just a couple of streets away, basically, for all the labs. So that's definitely great.